By the way, Troy Aikman finished third in the Heisman. I think that was Barry Sanders' year. Troy joins us on the program. That's a tough one, Troy. You know, Barry Sanders as the Heisman winner.
I was the Malcolm Perry in 1988.
you weren't that mobile.
Yeah, no, I was not. And I'll tell you, when I got there to New York, Barry Sanders could not be there for the actual presentation. He had a game in Japan. Oklahoma State was playing in Japan, and I asked him the day before, I said, so nobody knows other than whoever counted the votes who won the Heisman, huh? And they said, no, nobody knows. I said, oh, that's interesting. And I walked in, and Barry Sanders' entire family was occupying the auditorium, and I wasn't asked to even bring my mom and dad. So I said, I think we know who won this one.
Did you?
Not that it was a big surprise anyway.
Yeah, I tell people, one of my favorite quotes was when Barry Switzer was talking about facing Barry Sanders, and he said he told his defense, do not hurt Thurman Thomas, who was starting over Barry because they were worried Barry was going to come in as the backup, and Barry Switzer was really concerned about Barry Sanders.
He was totally right. I mean, hey, an interesting story, Dan, was I was at the Kodak All-America team before my senior year in Miami, and this guy comes up to me and a buddy who are sitting there having lunch, and he says, hey, do you mind if I sit down and have lunch with you? I said, not at all. And he says, I'm not even sure really why I'm here. I said, well, what do you mean? He goes, well, I'm just a kick returner. I said, well, you must be a pretty good one because they asked you to come be a part of this, preseason All-America team. It was Barry Sanders, and he went on and, of course, won the Heisman Trophy, had no campaign behind him. It was pretty remarkable, and I can tell you, I saw him in Detroit on Thanksgiving Day. He's the same guy today as he was the first time I ever met him before he had ever even done anything at Oklahoma State. He's the most unaffected superstar I've ever been around.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I always bring that up about Barry Sanders, and the other person I bring it up about is Dale Murphy, the former Atlanta Brave star. These were two quiet, humble superstars, and you would never know it. If you didn't know who they were, you wouldn't know what they did for a living, and they wouldn't tell you. But if you watched Barry, he didn't need to say anything. He certainly said a whole lot by just the way he ran. And the fact that he didn't even – I don't know if he knew how great he was, because I would say, boy, look at what you did to that defensive back. He goes, yeah, I should feel bad about that, right?
Yeah, and he certainly didn't want to talk about it. And we played him on Monday Night Football one year, I think in 1993 or something, and he traversed the field a couple times. He wound up, we couldn't tackle him. He finally went out of bounds and gained about 2 yards. And I was standing there on the sidelines next to Jason Garrett, and I said to him, that might be the greatest run I've ever seen in my life right there.
And it was for 2 yards.
It was for 2 yards, yeah.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune into Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV. Stream for free on BR Live or download the Dan Patrick Show app.